If you are not watching Dune Part 2 on the biggest screen you could find, I am so sorry, but you are literally missing out, not just on this year's greatest cinematic masterpieces, well, at least close to it, but also in the last 5 years. We just saw Dune Part 2 in IMAX. That's right, in IMAX, but is it any good? We'll talk. Hi, how you doing today? It's just Jess here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, so we just saw the movie Dune Part 2 in IMAX, but is it worth it in that format? Honestly, absolutely yes. Why? The entire movie was filmed for IMAX, so what does that mean for you as a viewer? It fills the entire screen for the whole runtime, so you get to experience the extended aspect ratio. Some of you that have known me on this channel, we always see the movies from the most premium theater format possible. Other movies that you could see in IMAX are probably not filled to the brim until the top of the screen. I linked below the sources that you can use to back up my claims in this review, such as IMDb, IMAX's Instagram, Twitter page, as well as the page on Instagram. I'll put a picture on your screen right now for you to see. As you can see, the blue bars on the top and bottom is what you would see filling out the whole screen in an IMAX theater. Now let's take it away. Yes, dramatically shifting, and you do not get your money's worth. And of course, the movie was filmed for IMAX, so of course the people behind the talent wanted you to experience this phenomenon. Movie that's coming to theaters gets fully realized, especially if you see this in IMAX. And of course, if you know me, I am a component for IMAX experience because movies and theaters are the way they should be experienced at least the first time. In addition to adding to the IMAX experience, you get to experience the proprietary sound system that provides powerful in-depth audio experience. You get to hear the incredible score and the soundtrack, such as the one Paul's Dream, which goes something like which was more memorizing in IMAX theater. You could also feel and hear the seats rumbling. And of course, let's be honest, at the end of the day, it's truly a breathtaking experience seeing this, feeling it in an IMAX theater. And of course, sources to the links below to back up my claims for this YouTube video review. Dune Part 2 is an epic adventure sci-fi masterpiece with romance elements added to it, with at least close to it. It's a sequel to 2021's Dune Part 1 with the same director, Denis Villeneuve, along with some of the amazing cast members from the first installment, but also bringing in new actors from different sources to invigorate a narrative of the franchise. This picks up literally minutes after the first movie, as we left off with Paul Atreides just finding the Freeman and of course defeating Jamis on an one knife to duel to the death. My brief history with this franchise, guys, I saw the first one back in 2021. I even still have my AMC ticket, which I'll link below and I'll put it up on screen for you to see, in the same theater, in the same format, which is IMAX, which I also had a video review on YouTube with link below if you want to see that. That was my first time doing YouTube, and I also saw the reissued, re-released in IMAX, same theater. Here's another stuff for you to see that I did go see it in the same theater, in the same format, and the same seat to get ready for this one. I was going to watch the first one back at home, but since they released it in IMAX, I'm like, this is the way meant movies to be seen, especially in theaters in IMAX. I also started reading the audiobook from Frank Huber on YouTube, but I didn't get that far, although I don't want to do a spoiler review right now. I need to go see it again because there is such a lot to talk about, think about, and feel about with the runtime of 2 hours, and I think 46 minutes, it is a lot to take in, especially the first viewing. And of course, I'm going to give other people, because I suspect a lot of people, when they saw the Dolby or IMAX or AMC Prime or 4DX or whatever screen, they were totally sold out for the opening weekend. So I'm gonna give them a couple of days, and then probably next week we'll do a spoiler review so everyone could see it and we could partake in that discussion. This movie sequel does what any great movie sequels do. It's bigger, better, but it goes deeper and more complex, but not overtly where you don't follow along with the characters. Basically, everything from the first movie is paid off here in dividends to the max. All the seeds that they planted, such as the world building, the terminology, the intrigue, the governments, have been increased in terms of the size of the complex that you're watching in the narrative of the story. It is fully realized what they were doing in part 1, but takes the same formula but applies it for the rest of the world. And also the characters are fully realized in, especially to the max, now that we get to see this fundamental shift in increasing in the ranks in part 2. We still love our characters, but the movie introduces new opponents and villains and even side characters that reinvigorate the franchise by deepening the connections and relationships from the protagonists that we've all grown to love, such as Paul Atreides and of course his mother, which becomes maybe possibly the Reverend Mother, but also questions their moral decisions and change completely about their future. What should they do? Are they doing the right thing? Is he the true Dune Messiah that people are saying out to be, such as Stilgar, but also introducing new mechanics such as the Emperor, Emperor's army, and of course his sidelines such as the Princess Irulan, and of course Ocean Butler's favorite brother. Paul Atreides is still seeking redemption for the death of his father from in the first film, so we'll see how that tackles into the rest of the film. Just like the first movie, this movie is absolutely next level experience because you don't just see and hear the world of Arrakis. What the creators did here in terms of the movie production and the technology they used to use this in IMAX, you are literally transported there in the realm of Arrakis with the director at the realm, Denis Villeneuve. Of course, this is not his first run with, of course, sci-fi. He has done other movies such as Arrival and Blade Runner 2049, which did suffer in the box office, but that in no way was the movie's fault. It just came out in a weird time and people are like, ooh, what is this? But still, this is one of those unicorn movies that you don't get a lot. Let me explain a little bit. I'm a guy. We have dated girls in our life such as unicorn girls. These are the most attractive. These are the best things that we can get that vibe with us. In the last like 3 years, the best unicorn movies that came out in theaters, specifically in theaters, was of course Spider-Man's No Way Home, Avatar The Way of Water, and of course maybe Barbie and Oppenheimer. But still, there is a long stretch between these unicorn movies, and of course introduces it to new modern audiences because it's an adaptation from the book from Frank Huber. They literally split the first book into 2 halves, part 1 and part 2. We got to see Paul Atreides, played by brilliant and actor Timothée Chalamet, who's an exceptionally brilliant actor, as he transformed from this young lost boy to see the things happen to him, but also transforms into the man, to the potential leader of the Messiah, and learns the ways of the Freeman, and his father has known to come as desert power and probably lead the people to paradise. Stilgar, which of course is played by Javier Bardem, which is handsome in real life, comes in this movie as more as he transforms Paul into the Messiah that he wants him to be, because he literally believes in the science and what's going on. He feels like the other father slash mentorship to Paul in learning the ways of the Freeman, such as potentially riding a worm. And we navigate this world of Arrakis. Chani, which is Zendaya, which a lot of people had a lot of gripe in the first one because she only had like what, 6 minutes and 46 seconds in terms of the runtime according to RGN in the part 1, which now she gets her moments fully realized in here, but she also has her own motivations. She is not just the love interest, the girlfriend, the bride to be. No, her character is based on grounded in reality, and all the actions that she takes accompany the people just for her Freeman, because as we see these two characters get close, Paul Atreides and of course Chani, as you've seen in the trailers, she comes to terms in the grips of the struggle of the interweaving of her inner self, because these are from 2 different worlds. Remember, Paul Atreides is from Caladan. Zendaya, of course, Chani is from Arrakis, so they do compete in the terms of a level that's different from both of them for them to concede in a romantic relationship. But also we get expanded to new characters, and the evil characters I do want to touch on before we end this review, because the superiors, it's crazy to think that the Baron in the first movie was larger than life, and for him to show up here that there's other people larger than that was honestly next level. Amazing black and white sequence as the first time they introduced Austin Butler, which up until this time I only thought of him as Elvis, but he literally can play different characters. It's amazing that to get to see him drown in this role, such as Faith Ruther. And of course, if you've seen the trailers, you get the amazing one-to-one sequence that you promised in the trailers. Princess Irulan, which is not only perfect and played gorgeous by the perfect and beautiful Florence Pugh, but just like in the books, Maya Ranjo, she does have her monologues in the diary. She says something like Diary 10/2034 by the Princess Irulan, and she says some sort of monologues. I am so happy that got put in the movie, because not only that breaks the structure of the film, but in the books as well. If you can see, they're like little boxed off, and she does put in her diary. And of course, the Princess Irulan is a big part going forward if they keep this franchise going, which I hope they do, because whatever movies come on, I will see in IMAX. That's right, in IMAX. Although, remember when I said earlier, it is close to it? Well, we're gonna talk about a little bit of the cons before we end this review. Although it's not perfect to some, it is a little bit slow and dragging. It could be in the beginning, but to me, in no way did I find it hurt of the enjoyment of the film. Yes, the runtime, 2 hours and 46 minutes, is a lot for a lot of people to take, but that reason alone, I was no way in such a hurry to be over with, because I was such in awe of what I was hearing, feeling, and experiencing the world of Arrakis, and I was being rewarded for my time, because I was constantly learning new things about the world, about the intrigue, about the government, about the connections to the characters, to place in the religious aspects that the world has built based upon the part 1 and the mythology world building that they have built for us to create. But also, I can understand a lot of people saying there's not a lot of action. There is a lot of action, especially more than the first movie, and I always like to say, if there's no narrative purpose behind the structure of these action sequences, the fight sequences, the combat, the shooting, then it's just loud visual noise. Yes, we are treated to some visual spectacles that you probably won't get for another long while before the movies come out in theaters, but still, it does serve the book, changes purpose, and I already noticed some changes in the books that complement the story going forward. And of course, that secret cameo by Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing because those characters are just seeds right now for future installments of the film, and I can honestly cannot wait for the franchise to go next. I'm going to see this again so we can do the spoiler review, but I'm definitely going to finish the book, and then we'll talk here more in the spoiler review in an upcoming day, so please subscribe for that. This is a unicorn movie. I saw people react to the theaters like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that person was killed off or that person was hurt. The romance was ended in such a different way than I've come to know from the books that I've read, but at the end of the day, I'm going to give this movie an A+. I thought this was a breathtaking experience, and I saw this in IMAX, so results may vary. If you have any question, please let me know, and if you made it this far, I really appreciate you guys so much. Consider hitting that like button and turning on notifications so you never miss a video. With that, take care, bye.